The Noble Eightfold Path stands as the core practical teaching of Buddhism, a comprehensive and methodical guide leading from the universal human experience of suffering to the ultimate liberation of Nirvana. It transcends simple moral platitudes, offering instead a detailed curriculum for the radical transformation of one's life and mind. The profound nature of this journey is perhaps best understood not through a dry, academic listing of its components, but through the narrative framework of an ancient Buddhist text, the Shorter Elephant Footprint Simile Sutta. This text masterfully illustrates the progressive stages of spiritual discovery, from the initial stirrings of intellectual curiosity to the final, unshakable attainment of direct, personal insight. The story unfolds through the eyes of Janasonin, a learned and respected Brahmin who is understandably skeptical of the ever-present churn of self-proclaimed gurus. His journey begins when he encounters a friend, Pilotika, who is utterly convinced of the Buddha's profound wisdom. To explain his certainty, Pilotika introduces a powerful simile. He compares his experience to that of an elephant hunter who, upon discovering a massive footprint in the forest, can confidently infer the presence of a great bull elephant. Pilotika's footprints were the four classes of formidable intellectuals, from the warrior, priest, householder, and contemplative castes, all of whom had approached the Buddha with the intent to debate and dismantle his teachings. In each case, these skilled debaters were so profoundly moved by the Buddha's discourse on the Dhamma that they abandoned their prepared arguments, left behind their former lives, and became his devoted disciples. This testimony serves as the first footprint for Janasonin, piquing his interest and challenging his skepticism enough to seek out the famous teacher himself. Upon meeting the Buddha, Janasonin recounts this story, only to be met with a gentle but significant correction. The Buddha explains that Pilotika's simile, while compelling, is incomplete. A truly skilled and cautious hunter, he clarifies, would not make a definitive conclusion based on a single footprint, no matter how large. He would recognize that it could be a misleading sign and would instead follow the trail deeper into the forest, looking for further corroborating evidence: scratch marks on trees, tusk slashes, broken branches. Only upon seeing the magnificent bull elephant with his own eyes would the skilled hunter reach a state of certain knowledge. This beautifully extended metaphor becomes the central teaching of the sutta. True spiritual understanding cannot be founded on second-hand reports, impressive stories, or even sublime initial experiences. It demands a personal commitment to walk the path, to follow the tracks into the depths of one's own being, and to settle for nothing less than a direct, unmediated encounter with the truth, the elephant itself. The Buddha then lays out this very path for Janasonin, detailing the full arc of the disciple's journey, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. The process begins with the wisdom section, ignited by an encounter with the Dhamma. A person, typically a householder, hears the teachings and reflects upon the inherent limitations and complexities of living a perfectly pure and holy life while enmeshed in worldly affairs. This dawning realization is right view. It is not yet a deep, experiential wisdom, but a crucial conceptual understanding that motivates a profound life change. This leads to right intention, the powerful resolve to renounce the worldly life and dedicate oneself wholly to the pursuit of liberation. This demanding first step, leaving behind wealth, family, and comfort for the simple, homeless life of a monk, marks the seeker's entry onto the path, the small vehicle of early Buddhism designed for a dedicated spiritual elite. From this foundation of wisdom and intention, the seeker moves to cultivate the ethics section of the path, which governs their external actions and interactions with the world. This involves perfecting right speech, where one abandons all forms of falsehood, divisive talk, harsh language, and idle gossip, instead cultivating speech that is truthful, healing, and conducive to harmony. It continues with right action, which entails abstaining from taking life, stealing, and all sexual activity, while actively nurturing compassion for all living beings. Finally, it culminates in right livelihood, a radical commitment to simplicity that involves eating only once a day, avoiding all forms of entertainment and self-adornment, and possessing nothing more than the bare necessities required to sustain the body. The Buddha emphasizes that this asceticism is not about self-mortification to overcome the body, a path he himself had tried and rejected. Rather, it is a practice rooted in mindfulness, a way to simplify one's life so profoundly that the mind is freed from distraction and prepared for the deeper, internal work to come. This ethical and simple life sets the stage for the mental discipline section of the path, where the journey turns completely inward. It commences with right effort, which is primarily focused on cultivating a disciplined restraint of the senses. The seeker trains themselves to observe all sensory input, sights, sounds, tastes, thoughts, with a detached mindfulness, refusing to grasp at pleasant experiences or recoil from unpleasant ones. This prevents the arising of craving and attachment, the root causes of suffering. This leads directly into right mindfulness, a state of continuous, unbroken awareness of one's body and mind in every moment, whether walking, eating, resting, or in silence. Having established this powerful baseline of discipline, the seeker is now ready for the pinnacle of mental training, right concentration. Retreating to a secluded place, the meditator confronts and systematically overcomes the 5 hindrances, the primary obstacles to deep concentration, which are sensual desire, ill will, drowsiness, restlessness and anxiety, and skeptical doubt. Once the mind is cleared of these impediments, it becomes purified, bright, and ready to enter the sublime states of meditative absorption known as the 4 jhanas. These are progressively profound states of consciousness, moving from delight and one-pointedness to a state of perfect, peaceful equanimity beyond both pleasure and pain. Yet, even upon mastering these extraordinary states, the Buddha issues a crucial warning: the journey is not over. These sublime experiences are still just larger, more impressive footprints. They are powerful steps along the path, but they are not the destination itself. The path is a circle, not a line. After mastering mental discipline, the seeker must return to the wisdom section. But this time, wisdom is not received from an external source. It is realized directly through profound, personal insight. This final stage is marked by the attainment of the 3 higher knowledges. The seeker first gains the ability to recollect their countless past lives in vivid detail. Next, with a purified divine eye, they perceive the universal law of karma, directly witnessing how beings are reborn into different circumstances based on the nature of their actions. Finally, the seeker turns their penetrating insight toward the ultimate nature of reality, discerning through direct experience the 4 noble truths: the truth of suffering, its origin in craving, its cessation in nirvana, and the path that leads to that cessation, which is the Noble Eightfold Path itself. Even at this point of supreme insight, the Buddha says the seeker has not quite seen the elephant. The final, liberating moment occurs when this profound wisdom eradicates the 3 deepest mental defilements: craving, the desire for continued existence, and fundamental ignorance. With the uprooting of these taints, the mind becomes completely free. The seeker realizes, with absolute certainty, birth is ended, the holy life is fulfilled, the task is done. It is only in this moment of total liberation, of becoming an arhat, that the seeker truly knows the full depth of the Buddha's teaching. At this point in the story, the skeptical Brahmin Janasonin, having been led step by step along this comprehensive path, is silenced by its profound logic and completeness. He bows and takes refuge in the Buddha, his journey from curious outsider to devoted follower now complete, having finally followed the footprints all the way to the elephant.